The End Dance. Sort of dead.
Shall we rewind back to the beginning? Back where we first started off? In the maze of conversation and at the heart to discover what being alive really looks like. A series of events are all encoded by our experiences. Life is tricky. How do we quantify the various forms of consciousness? What is consciousness? Is it all real? Living things breathe, but do dead things sort of die while already dead? The mere question of life begs to be known before our last moments have expired.
The dance at the end. Our memories and genetics, will they transcend? What's left of the impact we leave behind? The matrix of life, does it fully unwind? How are we then able to know? When death reveals its face, do we all glow? The insatiable hope that our actions are not in vain, that we'll find a storage facility in some human brain. Our lives are all but smoke cast into the air, wishing to be smelled by the nose of those that dare. A compatible willingness to be remembered by the spices of our scent. Various pictures of our taste set aside as a tint in one's mind. We all long to be remembered with a nostalgic bind. Experiences, memories, and our written history are the makeup of our lives. The dance floor is where we release our collective archives.
Can this all be over or just the beginning? Even when dead, are we still alive? The process is transformed, but can it be that this conversion of energy is seen as life as well? Bacteria doesn't get enough credit for how active it is. Nothing really dies, except memories which will eventually fade away. Somebody will remember you until they forget you. When we dance at the end, are we sort of dead or merely existing through a fungal identity? Without our collective memories of life, aren't we all sort of dead? The meaning of life comes from our recollection of thoughts, of our existence, which is then transformed into dreams, which can inspire us to live a life that is a visionary metropolis. The mental picture fades away in proper time. Once the picture fades, was it even there to begin with? Was the picture ever really captured or only imagined like a painter paints what he wants us to see? The actual still image is often distorted. Photographs capture the soul of a moment, a particular time that is locked in space. When looking back at it, do we see the moment or a false setting made clear by various filters? Existence is more than water, sound, light, and dare I say, our perceptions of right and wrong. We are all dancing along to the end dance, the melody of the dead and gone, not being here to defend or experience all of the elements of life. Life is full of unexplainable phenomena, but so is death. No one alive can explain but the dead. They often speak through genetics and stories left behind, even though they are eventually forgotten. The dead dances around at the end, waiting to be seen as the beginning. Sort of dead or very much alive, the end dance is one all of us will step into.
The living things.
For things to be living, things got to be breathing, yo. From the flower to the beast, from the tree to you and me, we need the force of life to be suspended within us. Life is within water, which all living things need to survive. There is no escaping the necessary component of water and how it relates to connection. Water covers about 71% of the earth. We can only live a couple of days without it. Water remains a grand connection for all living things. For all of those things that breathe, there is also sound. Sound which reaches in our dreams to awaken a realization that we may have forgotten. Sound is the vibration that we feel upon contact. The reflection in these echoes wake up at night. And you can never forget the sound, and neither can you hide away from it. It calls you by the echoes. Within this life, love becomes a twin of life itself. Every day of my waking hours, I am kissed by love. A love meaning to transcend. A love that creates another life. A love like this is as colorful as light being trapped in a pyramid. We connect, but we also explode upon contact of present reaction. All of the things we said to each other, every memory we have ever created is remembered when I think of life. In order to live, there must be a decision made to accept life as it presents itself. Shall we choose to be defeated by grief or the uncontrollable missile? For we cannot transcend if we are kept by chain defenses. Let go and let love be for what can be obtained. Trust in the present time, as we know life can be found when we realize the depth to our love. Living within the heart of fantasy, light is also a living thing which is capable of distorting reality. This noun age of social media sharing is a form of makeup. We truly hide beyond the mundane of daily living. New selfies around the corner, pictures taken at the gym for likes. We want to be seen for what we are doing. Everybody sees us as the familiar swipe across our screens. This new thing is sexy and got all the numbers you've been desiring. The idea is to be on top and to stomp at those at the bottom. Them bottom feeders can't taste the honey I'm cashing. Everybody is on my page. I can't keep up, but I like it that way. The makeup of pretended social advancement is transfixed by repeated lighting. We're all on this stage in life, but who are we really imitating? We go in each and every direction through this maze of life. Check the score and make sure you have enough room to wiggle around. Look around and make sure you find a window to look through. But be sure to always remember to look in the mirror. Release your inhibitions and see past what is drawn to box you in. Find a savior in between the war and zodiac bells. Never remove yourself from the wildness of the yoke. If you are chained, guide how the key must be turned to unlock. Place your chakras in line and follow the maze of emotion. Follow the zigzag in between what's called and what's received through sound. Within the darkness of these sounds, we can mend what's broken. Take your time to suspend into relaxation. While everything moves and breathes around us in the living, things have a tendency to be loud. And we can dislike what does not feed us, what doesn't give us what we're looking for. Within the realm of the living means an inescapable ability to respond to the environment. In preparation for the living things, I was going through my old journals. And as I flipped through the pages and I saw my words come to life, it is then where I realized that all things are living. The cycles of recurring patterns are living patterns. There's truly nothing separate or dead. And we can begin to talk about how life came to be through several factors. We know about growth and development, reproduction of offspring, heredity of traits, homeostasis, which are stable inner conditions. We know about metabolism, which provides energy from chemical reactions. I spoke about water and the importance of it. But the living things is truly about finding the silence, because even in the silence, things breathe. Clarity is understood. All things at all time, whether moving or standing still, is living. And with this knowledge of a life, we can transcend, we can transcend, we can transcend.
Remember the time I could literally call you and we would talk for hours about any and everything? Now I'm busy and you kind of busy, so we can't really do that anymore. And I think it's because life kind of got us distracted. And I'm on a walk right now while talking to you because it feels good to talk to you. It's been a long time. I had to make some time. I had to make space because things got really busy, as they generally do. And I had to come back into perspective. I had to get back to the business at hand, which is a lot actually. But you know, we used to talk all the time, just for like hours, about anything, and laugh. It seemed like there was really nothing more to do than to talk to you. That was literally what we had to do. And so, how you doing? Wow. And see, I remember that. And it was such a fun time. It was so cool. I'm glad to know you. I say that because there are not a lot of people like you. I mean, shit, there ain't a lot of people like me either. But we're perfectly meant for each other because we talk a lot. And even if I don't hear from you in another 2 more months, weeks, it's cool because this connection is eternal. It don't really mean nothing if I haven't talked to you in a while because you cool people. And I always wish the best for you because I see the good in you. I see your light. I see how you shine, and it makes me shine. Because there's no one uniquely like you. And that's a cool thing to say. That's a cool thing to know. That's a cool thing to be assured of. That you got a person like you with someone like me, and we have a friendship, and there's a connection, and there's, positivity, good laughs, stimulating conversation. I'm thankful for it. So, it's all love. And there's more to it because love always has a climax.
The climax is water by connection. Connection is called out from afar to yield a better threshold. Without connection, I am as fragile as a withered rose in the desert. In order to come to life, I must be saved by the springs from above. These lungs thirst for water. Through the tidal waves of conversation, it is now clear to me
how water is internet. When was your first encounter to darkness? Were you able to hide from its voice calling you? When you turn off the lights, do you run up the stairs in affright? When I cry for help in the night, who do I call? When terror reaches for the boy inside, crying for warmth, whose name first comes to mind?
In the name of Jesus! In the name of Jesus! In the name of Jesus! God, save me! God, save me! God, save me! Allah! 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 Holy Mary, Holy Mary, grace, Holy Mary, grace, Holy Mary. Willy Wonka! Willy Wonka! Willy Wonka! Gandalf! 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 My first encounter with darkness was when I heard my own echoes in the night. One wants to believe they are merely dreaming, but you can't remove the cold from your eyes. You're trapped in paranoia's walls. These echoes in the night are realizations of my trust anchors: Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, God, and everything I was taught to trust and believe in.
Just have faith.
I used to believe in stories from fantasy. The Bible was the book to expand my thinking. As it turned out, it became quickly exclusive. I started to question, why do I believe in these things anyway? Why do I believe I can be saved from my own destruction? If I can't listen to myself, why should I take anyone else's word for truth? The Wizard of Oz, Willy Wonka, Gandalf, and the Oracle were all ruled as insubordinate, no matter how highly I esteemed them. They were all under the great and divine Jesus Christ. It wasn't Spider-Man or Batman who I called out, rather an invisible force that took a male-specific persona. These echoes in the night are signs for higher clarity. The lower depths of my shadows reveal this thunder of sight. I now do not believe the stories of biblical fantasy, but my nightmares are reachable. I find them more useful as illustrations of symbolic significance, if I look hard enough to find them. I have nothing to fear. The soul of darkness lives with a consciousness of distortion. I can remember being voiceless, trapped in the season of withdrawal. I was scared. My parents heard the echoes. My partner heard the echoes. My brother heard the echoes. My sister heard the echoes. Now I am hearing the echoes, and they are loud. This is an alarm that I cannot hide from. The reflection in my voice reveals the heart of the sound that is now mine. I am to trust myself. There is nothing to fear, but only life itself. Here is a bliss that you can kiss. Right in between her walls, I will make a strut that no one can deny. Coming close to this vision that I imagined, where I laid you upon the table and stripped you to nothing. I was naked too. I remember how the moonlight was shining on you in a way that made me yearn to you closely. I felt broken, and I needed to be healed by your touch, and you completed this very act. I was immediately set on fire and given no water until I could give you a kiss that rhymed with our symmetry. A fantasy like this feels very personal, perhaps the most intimate as a relationship can get. I felt you as you were opening chapters and verses of myself and then revealing them to me through melodies of childhood reminiscence. Oh yes, this feels closer to anything I have ever felt before. I'm steady looking for you in the midst of the dark, but neither of us can hide from the light that is shining upon us. You've talked to me in my clear morning dreams. I'm now sent on heaven's path to illumination. Can you hear my heartbeat in the silent room? This is beginning to feel like a task bigger than my current comprehension. I want to make sure I can return at a time you can meet me in between. I know that you will, because we have every time before this. We are both drowning underneath this water, but only you can swim with the precision needed to fight. I can only hold so much until I am due to surrender to you. I can tell what you want by the way you ooze. You can tell what I'm enveloped in by the way I easily surrender. You are an oasis over the earth, a fountain of fresh water in a desert realm. Ultimately, you are like the 5 oceans of the earth. Unexplored islands lie deep within you, and my submarine is just starting up. You are the springs of narration. I can begin my quest by a simple gaze. You are breaking me away into a thoughtful analysis. I'm realizing the plot and the joy and the emotion. I'll gladly learn the drama of the script, for it can only mean a true climax worth the thrill. There's nothing to be afraid of if you're buying into the belief that none of us are connected.
From the darkest ages to the earliest realization, I was spending all my money in this framework of fear. My every working dollar was convinced that we were too dark, too scary, and too real to be seen for what we are. But we now realize we're all connected and there is no fear. There's no separation, there's no ending of life. We're one with everything that was and will become. Our bodies and minds are fully joined by the essence of true life. Simply put, we gave each other life. Ikaw varandra liv. Nos dimos vida mutual.
Act 1.
Birth, your debut, because after all of life is a stage. Your innocence, meant to be praised, desired, a given from day one, is cut short. Taken from you as soon as you are taken from your mother's womb. We are paraded from the day that we enter this world, judged immediately, and set into a mold that was never made to fit us all. Relatives and strangers alike make plans for our existence long before we get here. We are actors in a body of work written as it goes along, but thought of long before we got here. And still, we are meant to play our parts and get it right the first time, because there is no room for second chances.
Act 2.
Childhood is where your lessons truly begin. You must do this and you mustn't do that, because the lighting must be perfect. All of those that have come to see expect the lighting to be perfect. And still, many of them are hoping that it isn't. They hope and pray that they can find something to criticize here in the second act. They figure that if they can cut you down early, you'll never rise up and be who you were truly meant to be. This show is your life, and you've just reached the second act. Everything you do here will be measured, and either the lighting will be just right or it'll be off. Trust and believe. Nothing you do can stop this, and it will be used against you.
Act 3.
They have put on your makeup, but will it be enough? Will it, coupled with your performance, make up for all of the hiccups from Acts 1 and 2? Or will the lighting cut through and show the flaws in your design? Will people finally see that you are not who they made you out to be? Acts 1 and 2 were full of what they designed for you. You stuck to the script that was written. But between Acts 2 and 3, you made a few changes, and now the show isn't the same. You are not the same. And while the costumes, makeup, and the lighting are all similar to how they were on opening night, they are no longer what the technicians had put their time into. And as you step on stage, you realize that people are starting to notice, slowly but surely. But still, the show must go on. For the sake of those that did your makeup, prepared the lighting, and wrote the script, it isn't about what you want at all. You've got to finish your performance, and quickly, because the stage is getting hotter, the lights are too bright, and your makeup is starting to melt. And they're really starting to see now that something on the stage has changed. They don't yet realize what or who. They flip through their programs and wonder if they're at the wrong show. But you knew from the moment that they put on your makeup that the makeup and lighting for their show distorted your desire to perform for yourself. Autonomous, spontaneous, self-governing, within or without control. Sensory, pertaining to the senses or sensation. Meridian, signifying a peak, climax, or point of highest development. Response, referring to an experience triggered by something external or internal. ASMR is a part of the living things. It typically begins on the scalp before moving down to the spine, to the base of the neck, sometimes spreading to the back, arms, and legs as intensity increases. Most commonly triggered by specific acoustic and visual stimuli, including the content of some digital videos like this, and less commonly by intentional attentional control. ASMR is usually precipitated by stimuli referred to as triggers. Some of these triggers are thick and others are lightly experienced. These triggers, which are most commonly acoustic and visual, can be encountered through the interpersonal interactions of daily life. How well do you hear these zippers in the darkness? Every day, if you listen close enough, you'll be able to feel and also interact with these sounds. It's not always intentional, but if you have cuffed against a sudden whisper, you might feel the sensation hunting down all the way to your feet. Careless zippers going along the zigzag of life, through the maze of infinite sensations experienced on every sensory level. Brightly colored zippers are found in the darkness. Don't be afraid of them, as they aim to calm you. These are processes to heal you. Take the load off and listen to the sounds. Watch an ASMR video. Taste the elixir before your eyes eat away at your exhaustion. You are always found in the dark. Your eyes will light, and you won't have anything to be afraid of. The ordeal of the mission is to just be comfortable and to relax in the moment of servitude. You can't really expect anything more except the thrill. Explosive moments where endorphins shoot into you bring about a laughter that bends you over the bowl. These are the moments that are to be seen as real living things, without any law to stop the pulse. We all feel fear. We can sense it when it curls up in our toes, when our sweat glands expand, when the feeling in your fingers inwardly itch. Scratching. A grand conflict that is shrouded in anxiety is found when crossed at danger. The heartbeat of this rushing wind cannot be denied or even traded in for a soft blow, for an apology near the edge. And dare I say, I'm sorry. Don't be afraid of the zippers in the dark. Turn the page to the zippers in the dark. Closer to completion. Number 7. Aligned with destiny and purpose. Planet Earth, selected through random collision for life to exist.
These are the zippers in the dark.
You can dislike this. If you didn't know, I'm reminding you of the obvious, which is that you can dislike this. You can say, you know what? This ain't doing nothing for me. I'm out. You can do that. It's cool. I say it's cool because sometimes we feel like if it doesn't get enough likes, if everyone ain't agreeing on the same page, I'm on a different book. But no, they can be on the same book. They can have the same book, same author, same illustration, and still say, no, I don't see what you're seeing. I don't really get where you were going. And it's just like the picture that's on the wall, the frame, the picture frame. Maybe that color doesn't rhyme with the wallpaper and it needs to be changed. So I don't like it. I don't know. Just don't think it's that cool. Don't think it's that interesting. You can dislike this. You can like it or dislike it. It's no difference. And I've been thinking about just the aspect of recording, what it means for me to get out there, to put myself on the limb, to create something that the world can see. What will they think about it? How will it influence them? Will they share it? Will they think about it again? Or is it just one of those things where it just happened and it's not enough to really remember again? People will dislike something for the smallest detail. They can dislike it because there are birds in the background. I dislike it because you black. I dislike it because I don't like you and I just thought you would talk about this. They can dislike it for whatever reason. Do I care to know? Maybe, if I ask. But sometimes you're just given reasons why people don't like something, even if you didn't ask for them. They just tell you, well, just wanted to tell you, I just thought that you could have did this better. That happens. It's conversation that happens. And people have the right to say, you know what? I'm not going to answer that door knock because I already know what it is and I ain't for it. That's the right of every living individual. Water is internet. Echoes are in the night. Life is given when love is understood. People distort their reality through makeup and lighting. There are zippers in the dark. And yet, people can still dislike this. And I think about a lot. I write, I observe. I'm like a sponge. I'm constantly receiving all of these different fluids around me. I'm listening and I'm shaking my head. I'm thinking. I don't have any facial hair, but I sometimes look up and I wonder. I look at the clouds, which are gray. It can possibly rain. Maybe it won't. I don't think it will. But who knows? And even if it didn't rain, people will still dislike this. Even if it rained, people can dislike this. What am I saying? At this point, I'm really just going on a rant because I haven't really taken the time to look in the camera and speak all of the different things that are happening at once. And that's the thing about being alive, is that everything is moving. Cars are passing by me without any respect to me being out here. Obviously, because this is just not my world. This world belongs to everyone. So birds are chirping, the wind is blowing, insects are crawling. Everything is alive and breathing. Everything is making their move. And now I'm making mine. Talking into a camera, speaking to the listener, challenging the listener through art, through words, through poetry, through the aspect. And when I say aspect, it's almost like me saying the window. Here's a window that I'm creating, and I'm encouraging you to look through the window while also looking at the mirror to see what's facing you. What's looking back at you? What can you change? What can you do to participate in this life more than existing? We want to live, right? We don't want to just exist. We want to actually do something. And being in this earth, this is the only planet in our solar system that we know can harbor life. And you got to pay to live here. You got to pay bills, right? You got to find something that you enjoy doing to survive. You can literally move somewhere, be a recluse, be a Rastafarian, and you can do that. That's an option too. I know some people who say, you know what, I'm so lazy, I'm going to just backpack for the rest of my life. I ain't going to work for nobody. And they're happy. People still dislike it because they feel like, oh, well, you should probably do something. You should probably gain a job. You should probably, make some money, an honest living. But everything is living, honestly, even if we don't think it is measured by the same calculations that we use. So the whole thing is that do what you need to do. People gonna dislike it anyway. You can dislike it. It's not going to change the fact that it's living, that it actually is breathing the way it wants to breathe. You can dislike this. It's fine. And that's been an encourager for me. It's been encouraging to know that, hey, people not going to like it all the time. Some people might like it, and that's good. That's good. Those who choose to like it, that's fine. Even those who don't like it, that's good. Because maybe they might tell me what I could have did better. Or maybe they're just trolling. Maybe I really did all I could do. We're all doing the best we can. Yet people still dislike it. People still dislike the best and the worst. So just do it because people are going to dislike it. You can dislike this. You can dislike this. It's cool. It's always cool. And then the timer is going off and it's like, well, don't forget to like it or dislike it. I was just thinking, I'm going to keep writing till the pen runs out. I'm going to keep chewing. I'm going to walk in, I'm going to chew this gum until I'm tired of it. I can only do it for about 14 minutes. Then it's just a pest. But we're all in this thing together. 7 is all around us. We're all united. We're going to keep pulsating. Keep it going. Even when we're silent.
It's button therapy, baby.
It's all good.
You mean to tell me that's all you had to say, motherfucker?